Sue Moroney.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It is a pleasure to rise and speak to the third reading of these two bills now that were at the beginning called the Budget Measures Financial Support for Newborn Children Bill, but have now been split. And it's of deep concern that if the National Party was truly proud of this package, they would be taking their calls in this bill, and they appear to have stopped this, appear to have given up even doing that. Maybe they're ashamed. Maybe they're ashamed of how little this package actually does deliver. I'm not sure why they have stopped taking their speeches on this bill, but nonetheless the Labour Party has got plenty to say about financial support for newborn children, because as I said at the outset when we stood, actually not that long ago, and spoke on the first reading of this bill that we'd had put in front of us maybe 5 minutes earlier, that if imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, then I only feel a little flattered by the measures that are being debated here today in this third reading, because the government has missed a huge opportunity. They have missed an opportunity to ensure a good level of financial support for all newborn children, and they have particularly missed an opportunity to have read and understood all of the brilliant research and evidence that has been put before the Government and Administration Select Committee in its debating and consideration of my bill to extend paid parental leave to 26 weeks. Because if they had taken the time to read that information, they will have recognised that actually getting to 6 months paid parental leave is incredibly important, both in terms of, for a number of reasons actually, child development. Because the child development experts tell us that because of the way in which a newborn baby's brain develops, that getting that attachment and bonding going well, and particularly the first 6 months, but also the first 12 months of a baby's life, really sets the pattern for how well they will cope with the rest of their lives, sets the pattern for how well they will be able to adapt to change, how they will be able to work with the challenges in their lives, and matters like whether they will end up in the youth justice system at all, issues like whether they're going to need remedial education, problems like are they going to need a lot of taxpayer support in our health system. And all the evidence said that if we actually get that first 6 months, well 12 months, but importantly the first 6 months right, we can make a big dent in those issues. Child development, health issues, but also easing the financial stress on families at a time when their income goes down and their expenses go up. I just remind people about that again, because I think sometimes people just they gloss over this. People have babies and they live happily ever after. Well, actually, what happens for people who are in need of paid parental leave is actually their income goes down, and that's at the very time that their expenses go up. So all the expenses associated with having a newborn child can't be glossed over. They are very real, and having access to paid parental leave and decent access to paid parental leave is important in taking the financial stress off families so that they can actually focus on the thing we would all want them to focus on, and that is nurturing this new young life. Nurturing this new young life so that all of us can have the best, well-rounded fellow citizen to live alongside. And I think that the thing that really warmed my heart when there was an overwhelmingly positive response to my bill to extend paid parental leave to 26 weeks was that I felt proud of my country, actually. And there are moments when I sometimes don't, but on this occasion I really did, because people got it. People really got it, even the grandmothers. Mr Hayes, even the grandmothers got it. I know that you think that maybe they might not have a vested interest in this, but not everyone, but most people said, OK, I'm past my childbearing years, or I don't plan to have children, or whatever it is, but I can understand the merit in ensuring that all of our children are raised in a stable and decent environment, because we all get to live in a society alongside them. And wouldn't we want the best well-rounded citizens who have had that nurturing and support from those early months to live alongside? Even employers came along to the Select Committee and said, yeah, we get it as well, because we want our employees, when they return after paid parental leave, to have their family well settled so they can focus and be the most productive at work. And, you know, we like our employees. We want them to be happy. We want their families to be supported. They also understood that extending paid parental leave was a big boost to employers because it meant that they got to retain their valuable staff, who they'd invested in, who they'd spent time training, and who they wanted to come back into the workforce so that they could continue reaping the benefits of that skills development. So even employers understood it. And some of them must have been really disheartened to see the National Party continually vote against that measure to extend paid parental leave. They must have been absolutely devastated when they heard the National Party not only say that they would use their democratic right to vote against it, but they would stop democracy in its tracks by threatening a financial veto against the bill should it have majority support in the Parliament, which it does. And, Mr Speaker, one of the things reflecting on the debate in the last however many hours, 12 hours, 24 hours or so, some aspects of it haven't been terribly pleasant, but the thing that, again, warms my heart is that I think, looking at the way that parties voted on various amendments that were put forward, that there will still likely be majority support for my bill when it gets debated sometime in the next few weeks in this House for 26 weeks paid parental leave. And I welcome that because I think there's still a really important debate to be had on behalf of the New Zealand public, on behalf of the 3,809 people who submitted on the bill, overwhelmingly in favour of it, that we owe them the right to have the bill they support thoroughly debated in this House, and I think it will pass. I think it will pass, and I encourage all of those parties who have supported it to date to continue to do so, because I think what that places on record is the parties who are prepared to prioritise families, who are prepared to prioritise children, and who do understand that this is not a cost to our society, this is an investment. It's an investment in the future of our society. And that's what I think ignited the public imagination. Because when the Labour Party came out, even in fiscally challenged times, to say, actually, families need support. Families need support and the rest of us will benefit from it. The public responded and went, there's a party who's talking about the real interests of the future of this country. There's a party who really understands and is listening to and knows the pressures that are placed on families. And the country responded. And that makes me feel so proud of the sort of country that I really do love being a citizen of, the sort of country where people don't necessarily think of their own self-interest. They understand the importance of society and community. Mr Speaker, this is a step in the right direction, and I want to acknowledge how much of a big step it is for the National Party, because they have never supported extending paid parental leave ever before, despite some of the rewriting of history that's gone on in the debate. So I want to acknowledge that, but I also want to say to the National Party, don't sell our families short. Don't sell our families short. You've got another opportunity, not you, Mr Speaker, but the National Party and all the parties in this Parliament have another opportunity to actually do the right thing by families, do the right thing that the research and evidence tells us will make the big difference in children's lives, and support my bill when it comes up for debate to extend paid parental leave to 26 weeks. Extend it to the families who the government says they will make newly eligible for paid parental leave, which Labor also supports. But I do want to say in closing that it is Labor's view that we want to see that piece of legislation tabled in this House and debated before Parliament rises for the election, because we want to see the detail of that. We think it's the right way to proceed. I commend this bill to the House.
Mike Sabin.
Thank you, sir. The previous member, Sue Moroney, in her contribution, perhaps in the title and commencement clause, part of this bill we should have actually been trying to